This video is sponsored by War Machines. On the coast of Maryland lies an intriguing structure known as Fort Carroll. This captivating historical monument, with its rich past and unique architecture, offers us a glimpse into a forgotten era. However, one fact that surprises most people is that Fort Carroll was never actually fully completed or armed, and has been abandoned for decades. Join us to find out why, because today we discover the history of Fort Carroll. I'm your host Ryan Socash, and you're watching It's History. There's no doubt that the story of America's greatest abandoned fort will pique the interest of history fans, but if you'd like to take that notion to the next level, you should immerse yourself in the exciting realm of War Machines, the sponsor of this video, and a mobile game that you can play for free on Google Play or the App Store. In this game, quick choices and tactical maneuvers are what separates success from failure. With their expandable franchise collaboration, you can enjoy special in-game content and choose characters from the movies to assist you in battle. With each character having their own distinct look and skills, you can explore an extensive range of tanks spanning from World War II classics to modern powerhouses. Take charge of iconic tanks that match your preference, and remember to enhance your tank for increased power. You should also remember that Expandables is only in theaters on September the 22nd. It's a must-see action flick with amazing fight sequences. Go watch it and click my link in the description or scan the QR code to download the game. And thanks again to War Machines for sponsoring this video. Our voyage begins at a time when America needed to enhance the defenses of Baltimore to protect it from naval threats. Baltimore's harbor was considered vulnerable during the mid-19th century due to its economic importance, lack of robust coastal defenses, and a historical context of conflicts between the United States and other naval powers. During the 19th century, Baltimore was a major commercial and industrial center, serving as a crucial port for shipping goods and receiving imports. The city's economic vitality depended on its access to maritime trade, making it a vulnerable target for potential adversaries seeking to disrupt trade routes or weaken the U.S. economy. Additionally, the United States needed a comprehensive system of coastal defenses in place, leaving many coastal cities, including Baltimore, vulnerable to attack by naval powers. And the people of the day knew firsthand what that could mean. Recalling the notable War of 1812, which saw British forces attacking and capturing Washington, D.C., including the burning of the White House and the Capitol. This event highlighted the vulnerability of U.S. coastal cities to foreign naval incursions and underscored the need for improved defenses. To make matters worse, as naval technologies advanced, ships became powerful and capable of long-range attacks, making cities like Baltimore sleep with one eye open. Since cities with important harbors were susceptible to bombardment from offshore positions, the presence of forts was intended to counteract these threats by providing a means to engage the enemy vessels before they could get within the effective range of the city. In this context, the construction of Fort Carroll was needed to establish a fortified position to defend against potential naval threats and safeguard the city's interests. At this point, the United States already had some experience building sea forts. Fort McHenry was perhaps the most famous of the coastal forts preceding Fort Carroll. It played a pivotal role during the War of 1812, when it successfully defended Baltimore Harbor against British naval attack in 1814. The sight of the American flag flying over Fort McHenry after the battle inspired Francis Scott Key to write the Star-Spangled Banner, which would later become the U.S. national anthem. This is why Fort McHenry is sometimes referred to as the birthplace of the national anthem. Then we have Fort Sumter in Charleston, South Carolina, constructed between 1829 and 1860 and known for its role in the American Civil War. It was the site of the first shots fired in the conflict. Finally, there was Fort Monroe in Hampton, Virginia. This was the largest fort ever built by the U.S. Completed in the 1830s, Fort Monroe is often called the Gibraltar of Chesapeake Bay. Its unique design incorporated a moat and walls made of stone and brick. The fort played a significant role during the Civil War as it remained in Union hands and provided a haven for escaped slaves seeking refuge. It was also the place where President Abraham Lincoln met with General Benjamin Butler to discuss using escaped slaves as contraband of war. Following in the example of those that came before it, the fort would be situated at the mouth of the river, providing access to Baltimore's city harbor. Fort Carroll's construction was a feat of engineering, innovation, and determination. Designed by Robert E. Lee, the fort's unique hexagonal shape set it apart from traditional star-shaped fortifications of the time. Its construction spanned from 1848 to 1852 on a man-made island in the Patapsco River in Maryland. The island itself was created during the process of building the fort. The innovative construction involved driving over 3,000 wooden pilings into the riverbed to create a stable foundation for the hexagonal fort. This floating foundation allowed the fort to withstand the shifting waters and absorb the impact of artillery fire. There are other examples of forts using similar island building techniques, such as Boston Castle Island, which came to host Fort Independence. Anyhow, the most striking feature of Fort Carroll's construction was its hexagonal layout. This design provided optimal visibility and firepower coverage, allowing the fort to engage potential threats from various angles. Each of the 6 sides of the fort was equipped to house cannons and offer defensive positions. The fort was also constructed using a combination of stone and brick. The walls were brick, while stone was used for various structural elements. The combination of materials provided the durability and strength necessary for a structure intended to withstand potential attacks. At the center of the hexagonal fort was a spacious courtyard that allowed for the movement and deployment of troops and supplies. The layout ensured that cannons could effectively cover each side of the structure. Yet despite its ambitious design, Fort Carroll was only partially completed and armed. You see, changes in military strategy and the rapid advancement of naval technologies rendered the fort obsolete by the time of its completion. Fort Carroll's incomplete state can be attributed to a combination of factors. During the mid-19th century, when the fort was being constructed, military strategies and priorities underwent significant changes. The rise of ironclad warships and long-range artillery rendered traditional fortifications, like Fort Carroll, less effective against modern naval threats. In other words, the onset of steam-powered ships and improved artillery made it possible for vessels to engage targets from a greater distance, diminishing the advantage of close-range coastal defenses. By the time the construction of Fort Carroll was nearing completion, military experts had recognized these vulnerabilities, and hence the US decided to abandon many of their forts altogether. After abandoning traditional coastal forts, the US invested in several alternative defense measures to adapt to the evolving threat landscape, such as modern coastal artillery batteries equipped with more advanced and longer-range cannons. These batteries were strategically positioned along coastlines to engage enemy vessels at a distance, compensating for the reduced effectiveness of close-range fortifications. The use of underwater mines and submarine also became more prevalent as a means to create defensive barriers in harbors and coastal waters. These explosive devices could be strategically placed to deter or damage enemy ships attempting to enter sensitive areas. There was the development of torpedo systems, both fixed and mobile, providing yet another layer of defense against naval threats. Torpedoes could be launched from shore-based installations or small boats, posing a danger to approaching enemy vessels. And I should probably also mention that rather than relying solely on coastal defenses, the US played a vital role in deterring potential threats through active patrols and blockades. You see, the mere presence of naval vessels could prevent hostile ships from approaching key harbors and coastal areas. Improved communication and observation networks also supported these measures to provide early warning, and by the turn of the 20th century, the fort was repurposed for other uses. In the early 20th century, there were discussions about potentially using Fort Carroll for other purposes. One proposal suggested converting it into a casino or hotel. However, these plans failed to come to fruition, and the once mighty investment just sat there in limbo for decades. By 1921, Fort Carroll was officially decommissioned. By this point, its defensive relevance had waned, and the fort's structural integrity had significantly deteriorated to the point that it barely made sense for the state to look after it. For that reason, Fort Carroll was left abandoned and largely neglected. The harsh sea climate and lack of ongoing maintenance further exacerbated its deterioration. By the 1950s, the structural integrity of the fort's pillar system was called into question. Their shifts resulted in byproduct damage to other elements, such as the fort's walls, ceilings, and floors. By the 1980s, the fort was completely overgrown with vegetation, which in turn made the decay process far more intense. You see, buildings fall apart when moisture enters what was otherwise meant to be a closed space. When winter comes around, this moisture freezes, creating cracks and damage, or seriously intensifying cracks caused by something such as, for example, a bad pillar system. And when plant roots get into those same cracks, all hope is lost. It's just a matter of time until the building crumbles. Although the outlook for Fort Carroll is bleak, preservationists have been trying to save the structure as far back as the 1970s. While the fort has faced decades of neglect, various individuals, organizations, and government agencies have shown interest in preserving this unique historical site. In 1971, Fort Carroll was added to the National Register of Historic Places, acknowledging its historical importance and architectural significance. In the 1980s, Fort Carroll became privately owned, and proposals were made to develop the fort for commercial purposes, such as a hotel, casino, or even resort. However, these plans did not materialize due to logistical challenges. There have also been numerous preservation advocates, historians, and local enthusiasts who voiced their support to save the fort. They recognize its historical value as a unique example of military architecture from the mid-19th century and as a part of American heritage, leading to meaningful discussions about restoration as a historic site, museum, or maybe even nature reserve. And feasibility studies to assess the potential for those ideas are underway. While significant challenges do remain, including the logistics of access and funding for restoration, we can only hope that the citizens of Baltimore will safeguard this marvel, ensuring that future generations can appreciate the unique history the fort represents for years to come. Thanks again to War Machines for sponsoring this video. Click our link in the description or scan the QR code to catch their special event on September the 22nd.